All right. Welcome back to HAZCAR BioCup series. Today, it is Michigan. So we prepare for the race to start. Ross Chastain lines up on pole with Martin Truex beside William Byron in row 2 on the inside of Ty Gibbs, Truex's teammate. Then the third Joe Gibbs car of Christopher Bell will line up on the inside of Joey Logano, the Penske 22. On row 4, it is Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick. And on row 5, to round out the top 10, it is Alex Bowman. And in P10, it is Kyle Busch. Looking back a bit further back, look at Corey Heim, the fourth Joe Gibbs car. Clearly at a disadvantage in qualifying. Pocono winner, but just couldn't put it all together yesterday in qualifying. Regardless, today we hope to see a good performance from many of our top dogs. Maybe even some of the back guys. I mean, look at Bubba Wallace all the way in the back. He had a horrible qualifying session. I'm sure Brad Keselowski would like to see a good result today. Model Cap would definitely like to avenge the travesty of Pocono. Led the most laps and ultimately got taken out by Chase Elliott. Let's get this race going.
Drivers.
On the back straightaway. Look at the 99. Daniel Suarez. We haven't seen much from the 99 in quite a bit, really. Ty Gibbs nearly won Pocono. Got outdone by his teammate on the final lap. And, yeah. And as they come off of 4, the pace car is going to make a hard left onto pit road. And as Ross Chastain holds the inside, him and Martin Truex are going to lead us to the green flag. We are underway in Michigan. Here we go. Now, Michigan, a very action-packed racetrack. No telling who's going to do what here. Look at William Byron already down the inside of the number 1, Ross Chastain. It is a pretty dark, gloomy day. As you can see, there's a lot of clouds, a lot of unwanted weather. But that helps with, that's going to help with grip. That's going to help for competition. Here's Bell on the inside of William Byron looking to take the lead. Ross Chastain lost right off the green flag. Chase Elliott on the bottom, and they're 3 wide for the lead already. As Elliott gets the lead to the line. There's Chris Buescher way down on the bottom of Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman. Nearly 4 wide. Not quite. They were running pretty hard 4 wide in the COT series yesterday. It resulted in a big crash that Dale Earnhardt Jr. suffered a pretty big hit, pretty big flip. Here's Buescher with Ty Gibbs. They're 3 wide for second. 3 wide for multiple rows as the 17 hard braking in the corner. Not sure what that was about. It's a pretty warm day. It's 82 degrees with wind pushing east at 7 miles per hour. As they run nearly 4 wide, Gibbs and Buescher almost making contact. Cindric on the bottom. Here they are. They're 4 wide into turn 3. And Cindric, yeah, it's hard to maintain that, hold that inside under the current weather conditions. As Bell looks to be clear of the 48, so he can make a pass on the start to try to build up on a pass on the number 9, Chase Elliott. And they're 5 wide behind. Corey Heim nearly pushes it 5 wide with Ryan Blaney and others. That was nearly a bad wreck. They kept it together. Gibbs driving it hard into the corner, pushed the 17 wide. Chase Elliott now on the outside. Bell on the bottom. This is some good early on racing. End of stage 1, lap 24. So they've got still 20 to go in the stage. Anything can happen. Make no mistake, anything can happen. It's Gibbs versus Hendrick. It is Gibbs versus Hendrick on the back straightaway. But Bell on the bottom, pushing real hard. He's get his foot in it. Elliott still holding strong. Cindric, look at him all the way down on the bottom. He's looking up he's looking up for the lead. Cindric way down on the bottom. But that middle lane seems to be the ideal preferred line for now until conditions change, until the track heats up. Maybe later on we can see some 4, maybe even 5 wide racing on the front straightaway. But right now, that middle line seems to be where you want to be. Look at this. Bell, Elliott, and now Cindric down on the bottom. Look at them. They're all 3 wide. 3 wide for the lead. Into turn 1. Cindric with a hard dive, but it's not going to give him the power. You just can't find the grip. You just can't find the grip. And so Bell and Elliott, they're still side by side. And down into turn 3 on lap 7. If Cindric wants to make a move down on that inside, he's going to need conditions to change. Here they go now. Cindric with a good run off of 4. He's in the lead. Tyler Reddick on his inside. They're 4 wide for the lead. 4 wide for 2 rows. Bell into the 9. Nearly make contact. Bell drives it in hard. He brings himself into the wall with the 9. Hard impact. Bell drove it in just a bit too hard to try to hold the lead. Truex, contact. And that is the 99 Suarez around. Caution comes out. As Anthony Alfredo and Noah Gregson, along with Justin Haley and Zane Smith, they're all sideways on the back stretch. And Tyler Reddick is going to take the lead. He's going to slip by and take the lead. What happened? I mean, we saw it happen, but I mean, what happened? Let's look at Martin Truex, who's not going to be happy about that. His teammate brought that whole thing out. Let's take a quick look here in our aerial coverage. As you can see, they're 4 wide into the corner. Bell wasn't quite ready for it. Drove it in a bit too hard. Brings himself and Chase Elliott into the wall. Coming off of 2, Elliott comes down into the 19. They make contact, turns the 19. The 19 hits the 99. And that is going to bring out the first caution of the day. Suarez hits Gregson, and that is a big, big impact for some of these guys. Not quite like what we saw yesterday. Probably for the better. We want most of the competitive field to stay in it. And here we come. Down pit road. Everybody on pit road. Fuel is a big concern here, so with these long stints, long laps, all the way in the gas the whole way around, while running an intermediate package rather than a super speedway package, it presents a challenge. Look at Austin Cindric. A great stop on pit road is going to put the number 2 in first place off of pit road. He's going to win that race off. Here's Model Cap losing the race to Ty Gibbs and David Reagan. Reagan, an incredible stop on pit road. It's going to put him up in the top 10. It's going to put him up in 6th place. Model Cap moves up to 7th from 9th, so he gains 2 spots. David Reagan gains nearly 20 spots on pit road, so good for the 60. Although that could have also been due to the wreck. Who knows? Maybe he might have just gas and goed. So caution came out lap 9 as we are 1 to green. No lapped cars just yet. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex, and Christopher Bell all sit at the back of the field. Noah Gregson has retired. But that leaves us with still 3 cars in it. 3 people didn't start today. It was... Who didn't start? Riley Herbst. Or no, 2 people didn't start today, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Yeah, Riley Herbst and Kaz Gralla did not start today. Kaz Gralla has not started in a single race since Richmond. Ever since that number 80 joined the field, he has yet to start another race. He still sits at just 9 starts in the 14-race season. Model Cap making his 5th. And so as they come off of 4, Austin Cindric and Tyler Reddick. Look at Corey Heim. He's made his way all the way back up to the front of the field. Austin Cindric and Tyler Reddick are going to lead the field back to the green flag for the rest of stage 1. We're underway. Zane Smith slow off the line. He's going to be lapped traffic early on. It's going to become lapped traffic if these guys are fast and if he's just slow enough. Now with the track a bit more heated up, that inside seems to be a bit more viable. As you remember, they ran 4 wide for multiple rows. Maybe that bottom lane has become a bit more viable as the track is heated up and as conditions have altered a bit. There goes Ty Gibbs way down the bottom, 3 wide for the lead to secure first place. William Byron not quite clear of Brad Keselowski. Now he is. They were nearly 4 wide for the lead. Cindric and Reddick nearly made contact off of 4 there. Nearly squeezed each other into the wall. Here they go, and Byron still looking at the bottom of Brad Keselowski. Wants to take it 3 wide. Brad Keselowski himself pushing hard. Pushing very, very hard. But there's Byron on the bottom. Keselowski, though, going to look to hold it as best he can. Gibbs out front. 4 wide. 4 wide for 4th with Joey Logano, William Byron, Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick. As Byron slips out of it into the turn. They're 4 wide behind them. Look at this. They're going to be 4 wide heading into the turn. That's Bubba Wallace way down in the bottom. 23, they make contact. Sends the 11 way up the racetrack. That was nearly ugly. Here's Joey Logano way down on the inside. Tires are not as much of a concern here as it is the fuel. Do you stretch the fuel or do you pit for more stage points next stage? That's what you have to think about. There's Joey Logano past everyone else. And they're going to look for a pass on the 54, Ty Gibbs. And they're 4 wide yet again. This is just like Talladega. Look at this. Keselowski and Cindric making contact all the way down the straight. Buescher into Cindric, into Keselowski. They make contact all the way through the turns. Here's Joey Logano. They're 4 wide. There's Joey Logano for the lead on Ty Gibbs. This is going to make the pass. They're 4 wide behind. Contact. Brad Keselowski up into the wall. And that nearly brings out another caution. Brad Keselowski gets sent up into the wall. An unfriendly move. Here's Model Cap down the inside of Joey Logano. Larson, Bowman, Byron. The Hendrick trio would be the Hendrick squad if Chase Elliott was still in it. Unfortunately, he's having to find his way through the field past guys like Jimmy Johnson, but with the damage from the from getting him into the wall like that, it's going to be a little harder. Same goes for Bell. They're going to need one more round of pit stops to really fully repair their vehicles. There's Model Cap way down the inside on Joey Logano, with just 6 to go in stage 1. And they're 3 wide for second. Ty Gibbs in the middle. There's Kyle Larson, and they're 4 wide nearly. Larson in the middle of Ross Chastain and William Byron. Larson, winless this year so far. Still looking for that elusive first year win. As Zane Smith is already almost being caught up by the field, with just 5 to go in stage 1. We're going to see our first case of lapped traffic. As they nearly go 4 wide again, Byron and Bowman nearly make contact. 4 wide for second. Bubba Wallace on the bottom. Ty Gibbs way up top. Bubba takes the apron as Model Cap shoots by Zane Smith. That entire top lane gets held up. And the 80 holding strong for the stage win. Zane Smith takes the blue flag. Bubba Wallace looks to catch the number 80 with all those other guys behind him. His 2311 teammate of Tyler Reddick, as well as Alex Bowman and even Kyle Busch up here in the top 5. Yesterday's winner in the COT Series. Could he win it today in the Cup Series? Could he sweep the weekend? And here they go, they're 3 wide. Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, and Alex Bowman. 3 different teams, 3 different drivers. And they're going to send it all the way down the back straightaway. Reddick falls back, but Busch still holding strong. Busch is going to be clear of the 48, maybe this time. Bubba right on the bumper of the number 80. Kyle Busch clear of the number 80. Or clear of the number 48 just for a moment there. Stays on the bottom. Goes back down. And they're still side by side. They're 3 wide for second, for second. And side by side for first. Ty Gibbs down the bottom. Kyle Larson nearly squeezes the number 8. They make contact. Bubba Wallace down for the pass, and he takes stage 1. Right at the line. Bubba Wallace takes stage 1 right at the last moment. From under Model Cap's nose. Unfortunate for the number 80. He has had bad luck day after bad luck day. As we all head down pit road. Here's Bubba Wallace into his pit stall. Model Cap into his. Larson into his. Everybody coming down. There are 0 outers this time. HAZCAR sits alone on track. Ross Chastain in that very first pit box. And he nearly gets out in time. But with that extra fuel needed, again, the fuel is hard to stretch. So you want to take as much as possible. Which means Ross Chastain gets out of pit road behind Alex Bowman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Ross Chastain does not gain any spots on pit road. A good performance by Bubba Wallace in stage 1. End of stage 2, lap 51. So, as we are, just 2 to green. Now just 1 to green on the back stretch. And we're double file, side by side, model cap around the outside of Bubba Wallace, probably where he wants to be starting here. You can usually get a better run off of the turn. And as they come off of 4, the pace car, hard left onto pit road as always. And it is Bubba Wallace and model cap with Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson behind them. He's going to send it all the way to the green flag. And we're underway in Michigan once again. Stage 2. We're racing. Model Cap, a great start off the line, off the green. Like I said, you can get a better run from that outside, and it's exactly what he did. The 23, though, still holding strong, controlling both lanes from where he's at. He knows Larson's going to have the speed on the straight, so he goes to defend there, but then he's probably going to come down to the bottom to defend Ty Gibbs. Yeah. He's controlling both lanes behind him, whilst also catching the number 80 to try to pass him into turn 1. Here they go. And into turn 1, Bubba Wallace on the bottom. Now Bubba Wallace and Model Cap side by side. Bubba's got his Toyota teammate behind him. But he's not going to be so sparing when it comes to teamwork. He's going to go down the inside for the pass rather than try to give him the boost. He said, you took stage 1, that's all fun and games, but I'm looking for the pass for the second stage and maybe even for the win. Here's Kyle Busch, though, on the bottom of the 54. They're 3 wide. Busch up into Larson. They nearly make contact. Busch with Briscoe behind him. They're 3 wide, coming off of turn 4. And they're 4 wide with Chris Buescher. Just for a moment. Buescher slips back. Bowman and Larson nearly making contact. Briscoe down the bottom. Look at the 14 Diet Coke 500 winner. Crown Jewel winner this year at a Superspeedway. He's shown to have prowess at these kinds of wide field racing type tracks. Can he improve that track record even more? 4 wide for the lead. Alex Bowman on the bottom. He's found his way all the way down and he's pushed hard. And they're 4 wide. Gibbs and Busch contact. Nearly get up into the wall as they make more contact. And that is caution. Huge crash on the backstretch. Larson, many others involved. Larson is out of this race. And they're going to bring out the second non-stage caution. And coming back to the line between Buescher and Bowman, it's going to be Chris Buescher with his teammate behind him to the line. Looks like it started here. Looks like Larson exited the corner maybe a bit too high. Bubba Wallace exited a little low. They came together, and that was contact to number 8. And then he gets squeezed, and then that's a bump for Bubba. I don't think they made contact at the 80. I think he's safe. Yeah, 80 avoided any and all contact. So he's safe. But yeah, Larson just kind of taking a beating from multiple cars. He gets a hit from Ross Chastain. Gets a hit from Corey Heim. And then gets a hit from Eric Jones. Gets a hit from Daniel Hemrick. He is taking a beating. And we end up with 3 cars trashed on the back straightaway. As Josh Berry finds his way through the Red Sea. Look at Josh Berry. Can't see anything, doesn't know what's going on, trusts his instinct, watches Carson Hocevar slide right by in front of him. And now, of all people, it's Chris Buescher off of pit road first, and then Christopher Bell has made his way all the way back up to the front of this field. In front of Alex Bowman and Michael McDowell, along with David Reagan. Jimmy Johnson to the top 10. That is interesting. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th off of pit road. With most of the other guys opting for fuel over fast stops. Larson. He's not out, but he's definitely out. Ross Chastain sending it by all of these guys, and he's going to land in front of Josh Berry. And as we're just 1 to green here, Buescher and Bell, side by side. Buescher already fallen victim to Alex Bowman in a photo finish at Atlanta. Redeemed it with a win in the Joe Gibbs 500, which was just a crap fest of a race, I'm not going to lie. Pace car on the pit road, Christopher Bell and Chris Buescher are going to lead the field back to the green flag for the rest of stage 2. We're underway. That is Bell with the jump off the restart, but it's not going to be too major as Buescher's on the bottom. They've got Bowman and McDowell behind. Buescher's teammate David Reagan also looking to help his buddy get to the front. David Reagan, one of the old guard. There's Bowman to the bottom. They're side by side. It's just like Atlanta. Now, Reagan to the middle. Tyler Reddick's going to send it way down to the bottom. He's going to make contact with Michael McDowell there. As they touch in the corner, give a slight bump. Going to be a bit harder to pass now with less cars up in that highly competitive field. Nearly makes contact, 24 and 20. Bowman's going to hold a strong lead now as some of these lead cars still make their way back up to the front. It's going to be names like Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Model Cap. Just a couple cars is enough to make the difference as they make their way back up to the front. We're going to see a bit more competition as it's a RFK 2-3. Here goes David Reagan down the bottom of Chris Buescher, but can't quite hold that inside. It's been a pretty good race today in Michigan. Model Cap on the bottom of Zane Smith. Or no, that's Corey LaJoy. Ryan Blaney, though, on the bottom of him. As they go, look to pass. Reagan slips back. Bell. Look at Buescher with a runoff of 4. Looking to pass Alex Bowman. With the entire field behind him. As they're side by side to turn 2. And off of turn 2 into the back straightaway. Buescher almost clear of Bowman. Bowman, though, and past the 17. The 17 enters low. Gonna try to hold himself by the 48, but he just can't do it. And he's gonna try again now, down the bottom. They're 4 wide behind. Now it's ramping up for the end of the stage. Buescher and Bowman, they fought before. They fought very close before. Down to a hair they fought. But, yeah, Buescher. Hard fighter. As they're catching up to Zane Smith. Buescher to lead. Securely to the lead this time. He's clear of everyone else behind him. They're 3 wide. Briscoe, though, with a deep dive down to the bottom there. As Zane Smith, they're going to lap him in the corner. It's a dangerous moment for the whole field. They nearly ran into him. That could have been really bad. Smith takes the top, allows a lot of the competitive field to get by him, but holds back guys like Ty Gibbs and Ryan Blaney. People who could probably fight for the lead. Bowman now back to the bottom of the racetrack on Chase Briscoe. 6 to go, stage 1. Now 5 to go in stage 1. Or stage 2. I keep saying stage 1. Stage 2. Don't listen to me. Stage 2. And Bowman and Briscoe side by side. And they're neck and neck off the turn. Now just 4 to go in stage 2. Or is that 3 to go? 4 to go. Yeah, 4 to go. Look at Model Cap. He's behind Austin Cindric. 3 wide. Chase Briscoe to the top of the racetrack. David Reagan down. Now he's up to challenge Bowman. Model Cap and Austin Cindric down to the bottom. 3 to go in stage 2. It's going to be a fierce fight. Cap all the way on the bottom. That number 80 for Gulf Coast Racing. Austin Cindric hard into the wall. With Chase Briscoe. The caution comes out. And Alex Bowman survives that. David Reagan behind him. He's going to come to the line and win stage 2. It's a beautiful Bowman beatdown. What happened to these two? So, Alex Bowman wins stage 2. And yes, I closed auto stages already, so it doesn't throw a duplicate caution. Let's analyze the crash with Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe right in the last 2 laps of the stage. Looks like Cindric came into the corner a bit too high, and that's a bit of a theme here. These guys tend to come into the corner a bit high. Brings Chase Briscoe with him. That took out Chris Buescher as well, who he himself has been fighting fierce for the lead. That is a sad moment for Chris Buescher, who is just trying to get by. William Byron stays off of pit road along with Joey Logano. Corey LaJoie, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, notable people who have stayed off of pit road. Ross Chastain, or no, David Reagan gonna look to be the first one off of pit road. A fast stop from the 60 team. Now with more leaders up to the front than before. With 1 to green, thankfully no infinite cautions because I remembered to close auto stages. Thankfully. There's potential to see a great finish here in Michigan. We've only got a couple of retirements. Usually with big tracks like these, we see huge 10, 20 car pileups. 3 retirements. Granted, 2 of them were fighters for the lead. But it's Michigan. Almost anyone can win as long as you've got a decent car. So William Byron is going to be the star man today. I'll move this back just a tad. Yeah. That's good. And Bowman and Logano are side by side. Logano with a bit of damage. As you can see, his hood is just slightly bent open. But I don't think he cares about the damage. All he cares about is scoring this win here today. Byron and Logano are going to take us to the green flag in stage 3. We're underway. Logano with a good start. Good restart, but just doesn't have the speed with that still slight bit of damage. He's got William Byron fighting now. 300 cars. Still fighting for it. Look at that. As Byron slips out ahead, Logano just without the speed he needs. There goes Corey LaJoie way down. He's going to come down pit road. And these guys that stayed out, they're going to struggle on the fuel. They're going to have different strategies, and they're going to want to pit. As Bubba Wallace, William Byron's really just running away with it. Bubba Wallace here is on the outside of Chase Elliott. Elliott with a dive down. Reagan on his outside, though. He's going to side draft the number 9. Try to slow him down. Byron down pit road. Now Logano to the lead. Elliott. And I think all those guys that stayed out, they're going to slowly fizzle down pit road. I don't know what the choice was to stay out there. Why? But here's Bowman on the inside of Logano. McDowell all the way to the bottom. He's got his teammate Todd Gilliland behind him. Hard send by McDowell. Doesn't quite stick. And we've got a caution behind them. We'll look in just a moment. Alex Bowman's going to bring it to the yellow flag. Oh no, Tyler Reddick is on his roof. And it's a big crash. What has happened? Oh, I see what happened. Chase Elliott blew up. He's been the party pooper for the last couple of races. His engine blew up. And that, in the wreck avoidance, they're trying to slow down, and that took them all down. As they slowed up, they bunched up. Jimmy Johnson and Keselowski came together. That turned them up. That brought Tyler Reddick way up into the wall, riding it. Just like we saw with Carl Edwards the other day, just yesterday. And he flipped. So that's going to be third caution of the day. More contact from Corey LaJoie. Alex Bowman wins the race off of pit road with Michael McDowell just behind. That's going to put Corey Heim in the lead, but staying off of pit road, it's not a smart choice. Not with the fuel. Model Cap behind Todd Gilliland. Let's fast forward. As we are 1 to green in a turn 3. Now look at all the retirements. That is Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, AJ Allmendinger, Jimmy Johnson, Corey LaJoie, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, and Noah Gragson retired from this race. And here comes Corey Heim and Ryan Blaney. They're going to take the now 20-car field, or 30-car field, back to the green flag for the next 20 laps. Blaney with an incredible jump. Bowman already fighting through that entire field of slower cars. They're 3 wide on the back straightaway for most of the field. Bowman charging hard against the 11 and the 12. Truex out of nowhere after being taken out early is making a huge late race rally. There goes Chris Buescher. Buescher's engine is letting go. He is also let go. Chase Elliott just got out with who knows what. Because all we know now is his retirement is marked as an accident rather than an engine failure. But something is wrong with the 17 car. Hopefully we stay green. If he can just coast it back to pit road, but he can't. He has no power. As we watch for the yellow. And he makes his way back on pit road. He gets on pit road. No caution. But Alex Bowman. Look at Alex Bowman. He's going to overtake the number 12. He's going to make a dive down the inside of Ryan Blaney. There's Model Cap with a huge run down the inside. And Model Cap, now for the lead. He's looking to make the pass on Ryan Blaney. And into turn 1. There's Ty Gibbs also making a comeback. Here it is. Finally, we're bunching back up for the lead. We're starting to battle once again. We're seeing some action. Model Cap with a good run off of 4. He's going to get a bit of distance on the 12. Going to hold him off. There's Christopher Bell. There's William Byron. There's David Reagan. Behind them, it's Truex and then Kyle Busch. Ryan Blaney almost had the run off of 4 he needed. Cap's going to hold the lead for at least one more lap. Bowman, Gibbs, and Blaney are 3 wide. Gibbs way down to the bottom. It's not where you want to be at the moment. You want to probably be running that top line. Here they go into turn 1 again. Bowman and Gibbs nearly make contact. Ryan Blaney's way up high. It is lap 67. Bowman and Gibbs take it 3 wide yet again for second, but Blaney with the draft off of the 80. Right. Gonna stay ahead. Gibbs, though, pushing hard. Conditions need to change. Currently high eastern winds. Headwinds are going to make it a little harder to overtake. Maybe Zane Smith can be a factor, though. There goes Model Cap to the bottom. Most of the cars down to the bottom of the racetrack to pass. Bowman takes advantage of this. Goes to the bottom with a bit of a help from Ty Gibbs. And he holds the bottom to come off of the corner in the lead. Bowman, a 2-time winner this season already. There's Ty Gibbs, though, on the bottom. And they're side by side for the lead. That was a very close run. Now just 11 laps to go in the race. William Byron looks to pass Model Cap. Model Cap staying behind the 48. Believes that that outside can stick, just maybe. Now he finds the middle lane. Model Cap, he's going to take the draft from the number 54. Going to end up in second place. Into turn 1, they nearly make contact, him in the 54. Kyle Busch coming off pit road. Model Cap led the most laps in Pocono, absolutely dominated. Eventually lost out to Chase Elliott taking him out. This time, though, now with just 9 laps to go in Michigan, it's only up to him to win this race. No more wrecks, no more contact. No more drives up into the wall. It's just clean, hard racing from here. Gibbs and Cap side by side. Into turn 3. Cap holds the inside very hard. Heim is going to go down pit road. They're 3 wide for first. As end of race, as final pit cycles come out right at the last few laps, these guys, they're going to try to stick out the fuel. if you're Ty Gibbs, you want to try to stretch out your fuel as best as you can. Run the corners a little slower. Maybe hope that the guys behind you pit to give you a bit of a buffer in terms of time. If you're Model Cap, though, you want the 54 to run out of fuel. You want to stretch it out just as much as him to try to push his fuel to go over. You see Corey Heim now coming off of pit road. Now Model Cap pushing Ty Gibbs way wide. But Ty Gibbs going to have the speed off of turn 2. And into turn 3, Model Cap gets his foot all the way in. They're side by side for the lead. And it's still a tough fight. If you're William Byron, you don't want to help the 80, but you also don't want to help the 54. The 54 championship challenger, 80 newcomer at the bottom of the list. Only above Kaz Gralla in points. Now the 80 way up high. Byron slows down. He's headed down pit road for the final time today. What is maybe the final time today. Ty Gibbs tries to get that speed off of 2, and he kind of will. Kind of, a little bit. And, oh no! Oh, but Ty Gibbs is down pit road, which gives Model Cap a chance to make up all that time he just lost to Zane Smith. Or, yeah, collab traffic. Kyle Busch. Sorry, not Zane Smith. Kyle Busch. Now just him in the 38. If you're Model Cap, you want to stretch out the fuel. You don't want to go down pit road anymore. You want to risk it. But I think coming off of 4 now, he's going to come down pit road. Which means the next car behind is still Ty Gibbs. If you're Model Cap, you want a good pit stop here. You want a fast stop. Want a good fast stop. And caution. Caution right at the last second. For rain. For weather concerns in the area. As Model Cap comes right out behind Ty Gibbs and William Byron, as well as Michael McDowell. The 48 gets by 2. And the caution comes out right at the end for weather in the area. It's been a dark, gloomy day this whole time. And so because of that, we're going to go into overtime. Bit of a bogus caution in my opinion. Does anybody go down pit road? Does not look like it. I think everybody's already gone down pit road, so it wouldn't make much sense. And they're going to stop on the back straightaway. Ty Gibbs in the lead. Red flag. As the red flag is lifted, forecasts show improvements. They're going to try to run the overtime now. And as the green flag comes back out, it's overtime in Michigan. 2 to go for Ty Gibbs and William Byron. Ty Gibbs and William Byron are side by side with Michael McDowell and Model Cap right behind. Into turn 3. It's now or never. If the caution comes out now, if the white flag comes out, then the next flag will end the race. 1 lap to go for Ty Gibbs. The next flag ends the race. It is over now. Model Cap. It's his only chance to catch the 54. To score a win in the BioCup series. He is right up on the 54. He tries to catch. Doesn't quite make it. Ryan Blaney, though. Blaney's going to try to catch the 54, but it's going to be Ty Gibbs to win the not quite a Superspeedway 400. A valiant effort by both Ryan Blaney and Model Cap to try to win the race from under the 54's nose, but Ty Gibbs will score his 2nd win of the season. And so, Ty Gibbs is your winner. Congratulations to the 54 crew and everyone else who tried so hard to win. And We'll see you next time. We'll see you next week. Riki Raceway, Canada.